Just another day breathing dust in the heat beat, and all that I feel is worn at the end of the day, and I'm afraid on the bus home I'm staring at the floor. She's putting on her lipstick, thinking of the night, and she catches me smiling as I'm walking through the door. All is forgotten. I'm not as innocent as I used to be, and I probably care too much what you think of me, and it takes too much wine to put my mind at ease. I know, but what if the whole wide world was looking up to me, hanging on philosophy? Could I spend all my life trying to set them free? I don't know. So call out your message, your words. Maybe you'll get to be heard. Maybe get what you deserve. Maybe this life ain't enough. Maybe we're down on our luck, and I will never give up. All I know is we gotta stand up, 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 up. All I know is we gotta stand up, 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 and they say, oh.
Welcome back, everyone, to 107.9 WRML Music Talks Radio.
And we come to you live from Atlantic Cape Community College, where the opportunity starts here. And like Will just said, this is Music Talks. And you want to keep going?
We got Will Carpenter on Skype right now, live. Will, say what's up to everyone.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
So, we have a few questions for you, Will. As people know, this is an interview right now.
He's from the band ShipsHaveSailed. If you haven't heard of them, check them out, especially the new song Up, because it's a great song. It became one of my favorites, and it's actually became like Music Talk's favorite too.
It really has. I really enjoy the song. Yeah. Now, when we post this on Facebook, we're going to post in the description, we're going to post links to all their social medias.
Of course.
Including their Tumblr.
Yeah. Tumblr, Twitter, their YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Anything they got, we're going to post it.
All right, Will. So, first question. How did your group exactly get started?
Yeah, great question. So, honestly, the project started as just me and a group of songs that didn't fit with the current band that I was in, and but I felt kind of personal about them, and I didn't want to either let them sit or let them go or give them to another artist. So I just started producing them in my home studio at the time, which was in the spare bedroom of my apartment. And once I had something like slightly demoable, I brought some friends over and played it to them, and they were just like, oh, this is really good, man. What are you going to call it? And so that's kind of where it started. And, you know, as I was working on that, the current project that I was in was, you know, kind of fallen apart in a certain way. And so it felt like a really transitional time. And I started thinking about kind of like how you wind up anywhere at any moment in life, right? And there's so many different factors that go into getting you to one point in time. And a lot of those factors, like they feel negative, right? They like you're going through a struggle, or you're like missing an opportunity, or like whatever. But even those struggles and those missed opportunities kind of push you along the path that gets you to where you're ultimately going. So the phrase popped into my head, that ship has sailed, in relation to like missed opportunities and whatnot. And I was like, well, that's really a little bit negative. It should be ships have sailed, because, you know, the missed opportunity may not be a like maybe it's not the right opportunity at the time, and maybe you want it right then, but missing it is going to send you down the right path. And I was basically just like, wow, that would make a really good band name. And I was like, well, I bet it's taken. So I Googled it, and sure enough, it was available.
Yeah, I actually like that band name too.
I do like that band name.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
When I was first looking for your actual like web page, I was like, ships have sailed, and I got like all these analogies, like where the thing came from, but at the very top, and I accidentally had it on images, so it was like, it showed a bunch of pictures of ships and things like that, and I was like, wait, that can't be it. And then I actually went into links, and it was like one of the first ones that popped up was your website.
Yeah, you know, if you have the .com, you're probably doing something wrong if you're not in the first page of results.
Yeah. What kind of struggles have you had, like, as a band with you and Art?
You know, right now, the biggest thing we're struggling with is being able to scale the project. So, of course, like, as you're spinning up a project, there are different struggles, you know. Art wasn't our original drummer. We went through a couple lineup changes. Last year, our bass player and our good friend Dan decided that he couldn't continue on with this project in the capacity as a bass player. And so that was a little bit tough. But you kind of overcome those, and those are kind of par for the course, I think. With Art and I, like, it's a really, really comfortable relationship. He's an incredible musician. He's really dedicated, and he always shows up prepared. And personally speaking, we get along very well. We're like family. And so there aren't a whole lot of struggles in that area. But I will say that probably the biggest thing that we're struggling with right now is that the project is growing at a pace to where, like, two guys, it's a little bit much to handle everything that's going on. And I don't want to complain about that. Obviously, it's a high-quality problem, as they say. But yeah, I would say that's probably our biggest struggle for right now. Just as an indie artist in general, it's a little bit hard to kind of break through all of the noise in the music industry. It's really saturated with some really great music, and so it's kind of hard to break through all of that and get people to pay attention to you. But I think that's more of a general struggle from an indie artist perspective than, you know, specifically Ships.
I mean, I feel like me and Demetrius definitely understand that problem a lot, being two people struggling to work something out.
Yeah, I mean, we have a big team, but sometimes it's hard for us to get together and work on a big project and try to keep up with the pace of MusicTalks and the things we want to get done. So we definitely can relate to that struggle a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it kind of goes for all sorts of things, startups, you know, home improvement projects, you name it.
Yeah, it's a struggle sometimes.
Especially to, like, get out there and be heard. Like, as you know, we have our YouTube page, and definitely breaking through that is also it's a struggle. Yeah. And so we definitely understand how, like, you feel with that struggle right there. And we like what you guys are doing, and we just tell you guys to keep pushing on.
Yeah, stand up.
Yeah, thank you, man. Of course, and that kind of leads us to the last song that you guys played coming out of the break. Is you know, that's kind of what that song was about, and it was written at towards the end of last year, and we just found out, or we were starting to suspect that Dan was, you know, he was going to have to move on. And we just played our first show as a duo without Dan, and we were like, it was the last show of our West Coast tour, and it was up in Vancouver, and we were up way too early to get to the airport. We didn't have time to grab coffee. It was like rainy weather, and while simultaneously being like super, super satisfied and happy that we completed the tour and that everything had gone well, there was like this little undercurrent of like nostalgia and like sadness and just kind of like heaviness weighing us down. And that's kind of where that track was born. Even though it sounds really upbeat, like that's kind of what we needed to push us through the moment.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed that song a lot. Like we were talking off the air earlier, and I told you, and I asked you where you got that from, and it definitely did provide a bit of positivity to the music industry that it's going on nowadays, where you don't hear as many positive things going on.
It actually provided a little bit of positivity in my life too this week, because lately I've been struggling with kind of get back into school and money issues, and that song's like guys standing up for what you believe in and stuff like that. So it got brought a little bit happiness back in my life that I was struggling with and everything.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about music, is that it literally, a song can mean one thing to one person and another thing to another person, but it's how that track kind of manifests itself as inspirational within an individual's life that I think is one of the things that makes music truly special and pretty amazing. So, I mean, thank you for sharing that. That's like, I love hearing how people are kind of perceiving our music and absorbing it, and how it's kind of working its way into their lives, and in a lot of cases, helping them through certain things that, music has always been that thing that helps me through whatever it is at the time. And it's pretty amazing to hear that our creations are doing that for other people now. Yeah,
to go back to what you just said, that's why we named this Music Talks, because music talks to people in different ways, and it helps people in different ways. And it's basically, music is basically its own language, to be honest.
I mean, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've definitely seen how music can bring together people, even if it's like, people will have like different feelings on a song, and it's definitely like, it can be the same song, but everybody can get around, and even if they're not people who would normally enjoy that song, who would enjoy being together, they can definitely come together around the song and enjoy that, and it brings people closer, I definitely feel like.
Yeah.
Alright, so the next question I have for you, what's your motivation? What kept you guys going? What keeps you guys pushing on and things like that? What motivates you all?
I mean, to me, it's just that I can't imagine my life without creating music, and I do have various skill sets, and I do various things, but the one constant over the course of my entire life has been this desire to create, and more and more I just feel fortunate to be able to continue to do that. So I would say if you're asking for the one thing that gets me up in the morning, it's like the fact that I'm actually allowed to kind of do this day in and day out and create music that other people are interested in hearing. So I guess props to our fans, because they're the ones that keep listening and keep reaching out and telling us their stories and how our music is affecting them. And I don't know, that's it. It's a really special thing.
Yeah, I think great fans also motivates you, because when I first started doing this radio thing, I had a couple people came out to the booth, and it's like, the music that you play actually helped me out during class, helped me out with life and during for that day, and that got me more motivated to do this thing a little bit more and everything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, it can definitely be, personal interactions are incredible, and when it's coming across oceans and across, digital connections, and like, it can be really mind-boggling when you consider the reach that you can have as a person these days to reach across distances and languages and actually connect with another human being. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
All right. How does it feel to like go up on stage in front of your audience and fans? How does that make you feel when you go up there and see all those people in front of you?
I mean, that honestly, being on stage and being in the studio are like my two favorite places to be in the world. And it doesn't really matter if there's like 10 people in the crowd or if there's, a couple hundred or 1,000. Like, as long as the energy is good in the room, that is what it's all about. And it's about sharing a mutual live connection with the people who are sharing their time with you. It's amazing.
A follow-up question to that. How did you get over the stage fright of getting up there? Because I know from personal experience that I perform on stage a little bit, and this kind of terrifying a little bit, just get up there and just perform. So my question is, like, what helps you get over that, or you got any advice for people out there who's struggling with stage fright?
I mean, I never have had like huge struggles with that. I mean, of course you get nervous in certain situations and whatever. But for me, it's just remembering that people are people, and no matter who is out there, like, I'm a person and they're a person, and I'm just gonna get up there and like do my best.
Yeah.
I honestly give you a lot of credit because, like, I get nervous even when I'm, like, talking in front of, like, 20 people in class. And the fact that you can get up there and talk in front of hundreds or thousands of people is honestly really amazing to me as just a person.
To be honest, the feeling you get performing, and especially the feeling you get afterwards, actually feel good.
No, I've been up there on stage, but at the same and it's felt great because, as you know, I did stage crew, so even like behind the scenes, I loved when a show went over like great. So it's I definitely do know the feeling, but I've always been behind the stage. I never been out there on stage. I get nervous when I'm like even in front of 20 people. So that's why it's like inspiring to even me that someone can get up there in front of hundreds of thousands of people and just do what they do.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to kind of like put the quantity out of your mind a little bit, right? And it works the other way too. Like when we're just out in a new market, like touring, a lot of times we'll get like 10, 15 people that show up to a show, and what I've learned to do is enjoy those situations. Like if you think about the numbers, you're like, oh, like how valuable was this show, like, is it worth the amount of the gas or the plane tickets or like whatever your costs are, right, to get there.